You know what? It already says recording started. I think it's already going.
Terrific. Well, good morning, everybody. This is Bernadine Jocelyn with Blandin Foundation in Grand Rapids, and I'd like to welcome everyone to today's online Brown Bag Lunch. Today we're heading to Cook County to continue our Spotlight on the Demonstration Communities series. We have with us today a whole team from Cook County led by Dana McKenzie. Dana serves as the Director of Information Systems for Cook County. And in her role, she's the administrator for the Cook County Broadband Commission, which has worked to bring next-generation broadband infrastructure to all county residences and businesses. Dana also serves on the Blandin Broadband Strategy Board, and she's been working on the area of rural internet connectivity and education for over 15 years now. She's a 2011-2012 Public Policy Fellow at the Humphrey School of Public Affairs, one of the cool activities that she's involved with this year, and has provided really phenomenal visionary leadership to Cook County and all of the work for the MIRC Partnership, to which we're very grateful. So it's my pleasure to hand the reins over to Dana. She's going to give us an overview of the MIRC work in Cook County and introduce the rest of her team.
Great. Thank you, Bernadine. Bear with us. We're newbies on this. In fact, there you go. You'll see I'm bringing us back to the beginning of our slide presentation. But we're excited to be here today and try out the webinar tool and to talk with you all about what we've got going on here up in Cook County. And does everybody see the map on their screen?
Yep.
Good. I just want to make sure that you're seeing what I'm seeing. Our MIRC efforts here have really had a county-wide focus, albeit that's a pretty small focus considering our population is just over 5,000 permanent residents. But that said, estimates of visiting populations during peak times can reach 25,000 or more. Not only do we have a single stoplight that serves the entire county, but we're also 110 miles from the nearest U.S. movie theater, Target store, or dry cleaner. With the decline of logging and fishing, the local economy is over 80% dependent on tourism at this point. And the real driving reason we got involved with MIRC is because after several years of planning and effort, we were successful in securing funding from the federal government's broadband stimulus package to build a fiber-to-the-home network throughout our county, which we are very excited about. Our co-op, Arrowhead Electric, received the funding and is building out the network as we speak. We're getting excited about all the orange conduit that we're seeing sprout up everywhere, and they plan to be finished by the end of 2013. What are we doing up here? Well, we've tried to create projects that focused on building resources that would be valuable and interesting to our greatest number of residents and businesses once the network was completely built. Our businesses, schools, and other institutions have a vested interest in seeing the new broadband network succeed, and by creating content and opening up communications that are valuable to our citizens and businesses, we hope to drive adoption of the broadband and help ensure the long-term sustainability of these services in our area, which is difficult in such low population density areas like ours. Here's our list of projects. We really tried for diversity in order to try and pique the interest of as many different segments of our community as we could capture their attention. We also tried to fund as many projects as we could because we wanted to get as many voices at the table to start discussing this and experimenting and playing with us. The more we experiment and learn together, the stickier our experiences are going to be and will help us benefit long after the MIRC program is done and gone. Well, this is our full list of projects. I'll let those who are here today speak to each of their own projects and just take a moment to acknowledge the others. One of the themes we focused on for our projects was exploring different applications of online video within our community. The first three projects you see on the list, from Boreal Access, ISD 166, and WTIP, all focus on different aspects of the video idea, and each of them are here today and will tell you directly about what they are learning. The fourth project on the list is from the Historical Society. Their projects also involve some multimedia elements, and Carrie's here to share us details about what she is doing and learning from their process. After that, we've got Paula from Cook County Higher Education, who's taken on an important role in our overall efforts. Not only have they created a space and a lab facility for offering the extensive training opportunities that are coming out of MIRC, but they're also assuming a leadership role in the ongoing education and business development areas that will help us come up to speed quickly in realizing the benefits of the new broadband capabilities. The final 3 projects on the list are not here to talk for themselves today, but it is important to note that the public library is helping us address digital inclusion by acquiring mobile devices and using them not only to demonstrate modern tools to the public, but also to increase the number of public access terminals available in the county. The Sawtooth Mountain Clinic gets tremendous credit for walking this path with us, as they have so many larger, more immediate concerns on their plate. But they recognize the value of learning how to use these tools to communicate with their patients and are diligently working through a web redesign process that will involve two-way patient communication and online video. And finally, the Cook County Visitors Bureau is making the leap to mobile access of their resources, recognizing that this is an important means of reaching our visitors once they've already arrived in the county. They're starting with a mobile version of their events calendar, which will be immediately useful to locals and visitors alike. Well, that's enough of me talking, because I don't really have the interesting stuff to say. At this point, I'm going to hand the baton over to Jack McDonald of Boreal Access to frame up some of our long-term video goals and share a little bit about lessons learned so far. Jack is a technical administrator for Boreal Access. Boreal is a member-owned community service cooperative providing a full range of internet access and related services. Boreal Access along the online hitching post of our community and the go-to place for all types of local information, is excited to be involved in the Minnesota Intelligent Rural Communities projects. You can tell he wrote that. Jack, you're on.
All right, thank you, Dana. Well, Boreal's project is called the Boreal Access Community Media Services, and we are working to create a program to create a public education and government, or a PEG, access internet television or media channel for and about Cook County. And some of the bullet points or highlights of the project are to create an online public access channel that will be accessible by anyone, anywhere, with high-speed internet connection. And the project's main objective is to help create and deliver locally produced video content about the Cook County area and its people. Our area, just as a note, does not have a local television or video at this time. Within the city limits of Grand Marais, there used to be a public access channel, but it's no longer functioning, and it was never viewable by Greater Cook County. We're trying to remedy that with this project. Boreal Access has long been the way people get local internet or local information on the internet, and I think most people would agree that video is more and more becoming the medium of choice for delivering information, and it's a logical direction for us to go. So what we're trying to do is enable local individuals and organizations with the technology and training to create and publish the video content on the web. We are both producing or interested in working on live streaming, which is actually as the event happens, as well as archiving the recordings once they're made. This is referred to as video on demand, the archived recordings, that is. And we're working on demonstrating on how online video can be used to support and promote the things our community is doing and needing to know. We have quite a long list of that. We'd like to use video for: school events. I'm not able to get my channels to change here, so I'm going to just keep going for my slides to change.
Okay, you want to flip to the next slide?
Go to the next one, please, if you can. The school events, these are just a list of the things that we're working on. School events, that's one of the big ones right now. Sports, performances, graduations, academic awards, things like that. Another area we'd like to go within the school system is educational programming, possibly remote classroom, local concerts, performances at Arrowhead Center for the Arts, or local news, local events. We have a lot of things that go on here that people are interested in looking at, that they might not be here at the moment, want to look at it later, or that people remotely, grandparents down in the cities, want to see the Dragon Boat Festival, or John Bear Grease, or solstice pageants, or Fisherman's Picnic, things like that. The other area we're working on is creating and streaming and archiving meetings of county, city, township, school boards, things like that. An example of why this would be important is most of our residents in Cook County are seasonal residents. They don't live here, yet they own property here. And if there is a particular meeting, let's say a zoning issue, it'd be nice if those people could actually view the meeting as it's progressing without having to make the trip all the way up here. Health education, working on videos about that with the Sawtooth Mountain Clinic. But another real important one is to use video to present current or critically needed news and information on ongoing emergency situations, particularly fires, as we've just been through the Pagami Creek fire. Getting that type of information in a video form out to the public is pretty critical. The other big one too is to help local businesses use video to market themselves. Boreal is in cooperation with other local MIRC projects in this, particularly ISD 166 and WTIP radio in their video components. So where we are now and what we're accomplishing, or have accomplished so far, the first phase of this project was to use a video.boreal.org, which is an archive of, I'm going to switch to that just a sec here, is an archive of the of local video produced. Most of these are YouTube, small. Now if I can get my page to load here. Well, anybody can see that page?
We can see that Dan Olson speaking to businesses about broadband. Is that what you're looking at?
I'm trying to get the Boreal page itself up.
There we go.
I think it's just a slow connection here is what it looks like.
Yep, it's there
I
now.
still am not there, so
We are.
okay. I'll just continue on. Boy, I'd like to show people that.
We see that.
Do you though?
Yeah,
I
we
don't.
see it, Jack.
Well, at the if I go down into about this part of the page, I'm flying blind here. You can see a link to the video.boreal.org project. Okay, mine just came up. Do we need broadband? Yes. Here's a link at off the video page or a Boreal page to the video.boreal.org page, and these are YouTube videos that we've collected to show people how this works, to create interest and demand for people for video content. And if you want to go here and search through there, we've got many videos here, and they're all about the area, created by all kinds of different people. So the other big thing was to see if I can switch research and test the options for live streaming and storing video. The ultimate goal is to self-host this, the services that we want to do. It would give us more control, and that's kind of the way Boreal has always done it. We're kind of a make your own shoes kind of people up here, and we have always been an open source shop, and we were looking at a product called Kaltura, which is an open source video presentation platform, and it's got tons of things that we think would really benefit this project. Of course, the big thing that we don't have right now is broadband, and we're getting that with the Arrowheads project. And but until we do, what we're doing is hosting the live streaming and video on a hosted service outside of the area. The cost of the live streaming is very high, and so another reason for doing it locally here would be to reduce that cost. The other thing we did was research the purchase of cameras, related equipment, and to digitize and live stream the video. We worked with a local photographer, Brian Hansel, here in Grand Marais, and hosted a video 101 class, because we need to create our own content here. And we had sold the class out, a lot of people interested came, learned how to compose, and then how to edit, and how to be able to present that, get that into a presentable form for streaming or for web delivery. Let's see if wrong one. No, I can't make my slides go.
All right, hang on. I can take it.
All righty.
And I will advance the slide.
I'm going to one of the first project, or the other projects we did was now I need to get back to my Boreal homepage again if we can, Dana, because I have no.
It sounds like you maybe have a bad connection.
Can you bring my Boreal homepage up, please? No. Okay. We'll just go by that. What we one of our big projects was the first test projects was the 2011 high school graduation, and Jake and we'll talk a little bit more about that later, and along with Deb doing football and volleyball games. So challenges, finding and bringing qualified instructors to teach content and content creation and editing. That's a big thing. We have a lot of diverse interests here, and we need diverse instructors. One thing we are finding, though, is that more and more people learn. The more they learn, the more they can help each other, of course, and that was really working well. Most of this is voluntary-based at the moment. It's hard to keep the interest up. Sometimes that proves to be a bit of an obstacle. But as another good thing about that is the more and more people get hooked on it, looking at it, involved in it, the more interest there is and the more volunteers we have. So that's a good thing. Right now, one of our biggest technical obstacles is that the service we're using live stream for the live streaming, doesn't have mobile capabilities. So people with small mobile devices can't see it. We're working on that. Additional, what's next? Content creation and editing classes. That's a big one on our list. Working with the school and WTIP for sporting events, exploring different funding and sponsorship models to make this a sustainable project. That's a big deal. Working on that, working with the county and city administrators to start live streaming and archiving public meetings. So I guess I'm out of time. Thanks for the opportunity to explain what we're up to. If you have any comments, recommendations, or questions, you can do it at the end of the ask at the end, or email me, jack@boreal.org. Okay, thanks, Dana.
Thanks, Jack. Jack already alluded to our next speaker. Next up is John Jacobson. John, or Jake as he is affectionately known around here, is the head of information technology for the Cook County School District.
Okay, thank you, Dana.
He's been serving that role for 8 years, and he graduated with a degree in information technology in 2002, but's been involved in the industry since 1988. And he has been game to come along this path with us and explore streaming video as it might play out at this high school. And so we're excited to hear about what he has to tell us. Thanks, Jake.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, as Dana said, my name's John Jacobson. I'm the technology coordinator for Cook County Schools, ISD 166, serve a student population of about 470 students. We started this process of, we're the recording side of it, and the live streaming part of this project. We started this process back in last September, I do believe, and we had our first production, our first showing, graduation June last year. As you can see in the slides here, the purpose of the project is to offer IP video broadcasting of county events to viewers any place where they have internet connection. I'm also an assistant girls basketball coach, and the head coach and I were talking one day about how neat it would be to take in live stream some of our girls basketball games onto the internet. And just shortly after that conversation, this Blandon grant opportunity came up, and boy, we jumped right on it. It's been an interesting ride. You know, we're at Cook County is at the far end of the road. We're 30 miles from Canada, and because of this rural location, we wanted to offer viewing opportunities to county events for family, friends, and people who are just interested in what's going on in Cook County. Our plan was to start small, doing school events, and then as the ball gets rolling, take on more projects. Right now, one of the limiting factors in this for us is finding people interested enough to help in the recording. We're fortunate that WTIP has a young gentleman that is real eager and into doing video recording, and so he's jumped on board with us and is actually recording events. We did the last couple of events. I helped him step a little bit, but he took over and he's got a lot of good ideas. He wants to get Twitter into the program and some other media opportunities or plans. See if I can clip onto my next slide here. That's interesting technology. What we hope to accomplish. We want to take and, like I've been saying, provide the internet community with live events. We want to showcase Cook County. I think this is a real unique place in the world. A lot of people come here because of its beauty and, you know, the local population. We're the nuts and bolts that make this place run, and I think it's really neat to be able to take and showcase, show the world what we have going on here. We're also interested in, down the road, multicasting events in the school, like, say, the presidential inauguration, things that take place that we can shoot into the classroom on student computers. We also would like to be able to take and give students and staff the opportunity to take and learn a new skill, how to do the live streaming. And then one of the really neat benefits of this project is that the collaboration with other county entities like Boreal Access, WTIP. I took a video class at Higher Education. Paula will be our last speaker today, and she manages that. So it's been really neat how it's drawn the community together, and we've worked through issues because, quite frankly, when we started this, I didn't know what to expect, and we've walked through it a step at a time. So it's been pretty neat. And there's, you know, the unknown factor too. We don't know what other opportunities are out there that are going to jump out that we can get a hold of in the future. So that's kind of exciting. Some of the lessons learned in this project was, like, I didn't know what kind of equipment to get. Originally, we wrote a grant for about $25,000, and $12,000 that was going to be just for monthly subscription to a live streaming hosting outfit. Well, Boyle came on board and said we can do that, and so we didn't have to take and dish out that $12,000 to take in, and all of a sudden our grant was cut in half, and so the county and Dana made it work. So it's been pretty interesting process. We'd like to be able to sustain this, get people interested, and maybe some way find a way that we could take and get some money into the pockets of the people that are doing the recording. We had to get creative in wiring our gymnasiums for Ethernet. The Blandon grant paid for one of our gyms to get wired, and the other one, a local emergency response grant came forth to help us wire the community ed gym. So that was neat the way that all transpired. We're finding out that videoing, live streaming inside a building is a whole lot easier than outside. We have, for our home games, we have our school sits right next to the football field, so we can take and sit up on the roof and live stream the games, but you have to have an Ethernet cable that's about 80 feet long, and you have the wind and elements that are always present there. I found that taking the how-to class, the Video 101, was really helpful for me. It got me started, jump-started, and talked with the instructor about what kind of equipment would be the best to get. I talked to Jack over at Boreal about what would be the best equipment to get, and I did a lot of research online and to get it all to come together. Next steps, where do we go from here? We're going to continue to live stream school events, and we want to move out into the community and do other community events. Like Thursday night, we're going to do the home volleyball game. Friday, we're hoping to do a home football game, homecoming, and then we're going to do the Veterans Day band concert here in November. One of the things that we're thinking about and wondering is how we can do this wirelessly. Maybe we can go to a wayfinder and set up a wireless access point and video stream the home game, because usually football fields are away from the school and it's hard to get an Ethernet connection. So that's something we're interested in researching and figuring out ways to get more students involved or local community members. We're still learning. It's an ongoing project, and we just want to keep open-minded for creativity and the actual filming of events. Okay, that's my portion. I'm going to turn this back over to you, Dana.
Great. Thank you, Jake. Next up is our project from WTIP, and Deb Benedict is here today to tell us a little bit more about what they're doing and show us some of the things they've already accomplished. She's the director of WTIP Community Radio in Grand Marais, which went on the air in 1998 and is the only local radio station in northeast Minnesota. Deb has been the director there since 2002, and the community is really lucky to have her. And that won't be the first time I say that. We've got a great group of people here. Deb, I just turned the floor over to you.
Thank you, Dana.
You're welcome. And then let me know if you have trouble like Jack with switching to the tabs,
Sure.
and I can do that for you.
Sure. I can be very brief here because actually Jack at Boreal and Jake at the school have covered a lot of the information that I was going to do as far as what our community is, what we're doing, how we're partnering, that sort of thing. But just a little bit about WTIP is we are the only local radio station in northeastern Minnesota, so we cover most of northeastern Minnesota, so we do connect a lot of communities. We are more than just a radio station. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting calls us the poster child for community engagement as far as small rural stations. We have, through project grants, created a community garden, have created possibilities to focus in on our local artists, our community, our musicians. We cover events that are happening. We really kind of put our name on the map for fire coverage during the Ham Lake Fire in 2007, and have worked well with our local authorities as far as getting information out to people when really communication was down at that time. So we like to rise to any challenge that comes our way, and I believe our community is truly engaged with us They support us, both businesses and the community members support us, as well as folks that don't even live here. I'd say probably 40% of our members, our annual supporters, do not even live here. They may have a second home here. They just they may travel here to our tourist destination spots. So, and they love to stay connected with our community, and that's one of the things that we've been able to do through our web streaming. We have folks that tune in to our programs throughout the day and evening via their computers, wherever they may be in the country or even in the world. So people love our community. People love the North Shore. They love our Boundary Waters, and so we've been able to fill a real niche in bringing information about all of us to folks that want it. So we were very excited to be asked to be part of this project by Dana, and again, taking another step in another direction that is not radio, but it is today, because there's multimedia platforms, is what most media organizations have to become. It was timely for us because we had just created a new website, and we had just gotten a grant to work with youth in our schools to create a youth radio project. And so we pretty much decided to focus on the video and hopefully engage some of our youth to become involved with it. And things are moving slower than we would like as far as the youth. We had we're beginning our second school year with youth radio, and in fact today later on we're going over to meet with 2 groups in their study halls to see how many want to become engaged in our programming. And Patrick, who I'll tell you about in a second, is coming with us to try and show everyone about our video project. Patrick Knight has probably been a gift that fell in our lap. A young man who went to school here, went away to college, worked at a radio station down the Twin Cities, and wanted to move home. He has been doing our video work for us, creating videos, working with others to learn how to video, and has, again, stepped up to the plate when we have partnered with ISD 166 and with Oriole Access to bring live video streaming events of the sporting events that we've done this fall. That's been very fun. Patrick has been our cameraman on that. He also has, both Jack and Jake are brilliant technologically wise, because that is the area of their careers, and I'm kind of like an old dog. I'm being pulled along, screaming and kicking and learning things as I go. So, I mean, I even had trouble uploading my picture to this website today. So, but Patrick has come into our lives and is showing us how you think, how you operate with all these different social medias. And so we really are enjoying having him. I'm going to click onto our website, and it's kind of a full too full of a screen for it, but you can see where on our website we have a column called Photos from the Edge, and this is where we're featuring new videos that we get, either produced by Patrick, produced by community members that submit them to us, or whatever. We try to focus mainly and keep everything pretty local on what we feature visually as far as photographs. As you can see at the top, we created this website so we could feature our wonderful photographers too in the area. And so anyway, there's our space for video, and I'm going to flip to the next slide, which is our eye-to-eye video page, in which we talk about the Blandon MIRC project and feature our different organizations, of which you're hearing from us today. And then at the bottom we have different photos that are, if you click on those are the videos that we've posted over the last few months, be it community events, skateboarders in our town, musicians, or educational pieces that have been brought into our community for our students or our adults. So I am going to now flip, hopefully, to one of the videos that Patrick created. It happens to be one of our events. And I think that you all have to hit the play button. Is that correct, Dana?
Yeah.
Because I don't control it. So everybody hit play now. And that will give you a little indication of what Patrick's doing for us. And this event is much beloved in our community. It focuses on the family. We have a kids tent. As you can see, face painting, which was the big thing of the day. And it's all local musicians. We get grants to do this. We charge only $5 at the door because we want it to be well attended by our community members. It started as a thank you to our community, and we do pay our musicians, which for the time that they do come in. So. That's another thing that we do pride ourselves on. Another video I want to show you is, now I think, is this one. And I had an error bringing this up earlier, and so I can't play it, but it is our local news director, Barbara Jean Johnson, was driving to work one day and saw this pack of wolves on the field. So I would hit play and watch it if you can. And are you able to? Can you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so this is another thing we want to encourage amongst our community members is to hopefully formulate some training sessions. And she just used her Droid, or her phone, her iPhone, and was just thrilled to see these wolves, and as they came closer and closer and closer to her. And so, one of our goals is to arm everyone in the community and have them be ready to film at any given moment. One of our missions here at WTIP is to connect people and to create understanding among people so that there can be more meaningful and deeper conversations with each other, ultimately to solve problems for the community that we all love. And so we believe by sharing in whatever, storytelling audio, community events, and video, we can hopefully create better understanding amongst us all and create an atmosphere of working together to make this, continue to make this as wonderful a community as it is. Again, we're partnering with Boreal. We've kind of taken a turn here. We're going to continue doing videos and continuing to try and engage youth to help us produce videos and that we can post on our website. But I think the most exciting thing and the fun thing that we're doing right now is partnering with ISD 166 and Boreal Access, utilizing Patrick, our camera person, to bring live video streaming of sporting events. And I've had a lot of comments from people in our community and those that don't live here that how wonderful this has been. We do, anyway, have volunteer sports broadcasters who will call the game on our radio. That's one of the things that we do as a community radio station. And it's been fun to work with Jack and Jake to coordinate our audio broadcast with the video setup. And I think that's been a great accomplishment on our part. And we will continue to video stream some sporting events without broadcasts, but we are working to partner everybody up so that we can have the quote-unquote professional sports broadcasters give a play-by-play of the games as we are video streaming them too. And I think Jake mentioned that we do, or Jack mentioned that I have been, and I know Jake has been too, contacting the athletic directors from the other schools that are here that travel a long distance to participate in the games with our student athletes, that people in their community can video stream these games if they have a higher speed connection. And I know that has happened because we have gotten emails from a few folks thanking us for that. So it's been very much fun. And I have to warn our local sports broadcasters, too, that you've got people listening from the other schools, so you've got to be careful that you're not cheering too much for one side. But it's all good. It's fun, and it deepens the connection with people, I think, within our community and from beyond.
Great.
I think that's probably all I need to say at this point.
Great. Thank you, Deb. We're so excited to watch this work continue to develop.
Thanks, Dana.
I am going to go next to our project from our Cook County Historical Society that also has multimedia elements. And here to tell us a little bit more about it is Carrie McHugh. Carrie's worked for the Historical Society for nearly 4 years and recently became their director in February of this year. She received her BA at the University of Minnesota and MS at Minnesota State University, both in anthropology. In her new role, one of Carrie's priorities is to make the museum's collections and history more accessible. So this project dovetailed nicely with that goal. And I'm about ready here. Oh, we didn't get your picture up here, did we, Carrie?
I guess it didn't come through. I don't see it.
Remind me again of your number.
2883.
Okay. How did we pass control? Bear with us, folks. There we go. You should have the floor now, Carrie.
Okay, thanks, Dana.
Yep.
Like Dana mentioned, we're working on an online catalog project, and so some of the earliest phases of the project included cleaning up some of the data before we were to transfer that into one software database. That's Past Perfect. We had databases in a couple different locations, and so we decided it was important first, before we talked about getting it all online, to get it all in one place. And so we started the project by working on a couple of our more interesting and comprehensive collections, which included our obituaries and our vertical file collections. So they were kind of the test run. Haven't yet included much digitization, but I think that people will be really interested at some point in seeing scans, for example, of obituaries and having access to that online. So that's something for the future. And then the next logical step was to get some of our images, some of our photographs and our audio recordings, which we have quite a number of, and our video recordings up online. And so this Blandin project really was the next best phase 2 to try to figure out how would we get those multimedia things up online. And so we have been working on getting that data cleaned up, getting those things digitized, figuring out how to digitize cassettes, for example, and doing edit work to narrow those down to small clips so that we're not putting the entire oral history online, but instead just maybe a little representative, interesting sample of that, that audio. And so I will show you this is a site that's not for public use yet, because we are just working with it, but the museum software, Past Perfect, has an online catalog component, so we were able to purchase that, and it takes the information that we have in our in-house catalog and just exports it to this online database. And so we've got to work on customizing it, putting on our logo and putting in all the information that we want people to know about how to search our catalog. But for now, we can drop in a keyword and come up with a lot of different hits. The collections that we do have right now that we're testing are those obituaries and those vertical files. And then we recently put up some photographs. We've got this wonderful collection of glass negatives that were taken in the early 1900s. We've got about 480 of these glass negatives that were scanned by a volunteer sometime back. And so we thought this would be a great test collection to put up online. It's just infinitely interesting. I look at these pictures, and every time I see something new, and it looks like I can't. I was trying to make that picture. I don't know if you can click on the image and make it bigger. I couldn't. But if you click on it and are able to make it larger, then you can get more details about the photograph as well. So this is a really neat feature of Past Perfect Online, that they automatically upload these things with your catalog record. Figuring out how to do the audio and the video is a little bit more complicated. Past Perfect hasn't built that into their software quite as easily, so we've had to figure out how to get clips of the videos. We're editing down, of the audio. We're editing it down to small clips, and then we have those put onto our website, and then create a link from our website back into a specific field within our software, and then the Past Perfect Online can grab that link and get the clip up online. So that was a bit of learning to figure that out. So here I will click on an example. So you can see that the audio is embedded right in the record. And so I will ask you to play that, and just so you can hear an example of one of our clips. If you play it now.
It was a very fine artist. To do work in oil, work in watercolors, texture.
So Carrie, I missed, where is that audio file stored?
That audio file is actually stored on our own website. It has to be stored online, so it's on our website.
Okay.
Just to create that link.
Okay, got it. Thanks. Should we go ahead and stop that audio?
Yeah, will you please stop that, and then I will click on just the page where our video shows up embedded in the record. So if you've all stopped it, then I'm going to click on the video. This is a video that we created in-house at one of our events this summer. This is Vi Rindal, and she's doing a LEFSA demonstration, which she does every year. And so we will certainly start by putting some of these of our own creations of videos online. But we also have a large collection of PAC 13. That was the former the local access channel that Jack made reference to. We have all the videotapes that Holly Nelson had taken for that channel, and so at some time we'll try to figure out how to digitize those VHS tapes and then do the edit work and try to get clips of those online. But as you can imagine, we have quite a large collection of not only photographs and oral histories and videos, but the other idea would be to photograph our physical objects as well and have those available online. So we've got quite a lot of work to do and a very small staff. Luckily we've got great volunteers that help out. But that's certainly one of the things that we're learning through this project is just how much time it does take. Not only digitizing, but working with data is, it could go on forever, because the goal when you want to put it up online is to have it be very consistent, so that and you're creating a user-friendly page for people to search. And it's really important because these people who will be searching these sites, some will be doing it for fun, but others will be researchers or really interested in finding exactly those topics and going into great detail. And so it's really important that we get the data correct too before we get it up online. So it's a lot of fun. I think it's a great way of preservation. No doubt digitizing is a great way of preservation, but also disseminating this information. The more people that know the information, the longer the history will live on. So I think we're on our way to accomplishing some of these important goals, but it definitely will take quite a lot of time.
Great. Did we?
I think that's it for me.
Okay. I think I maybe have one more slide for you, but I think we've already covered all of that information.
Probably.
It's funny. At first, that project was a slow burn here. But whenever we go out in the community and talk about our list of projects, invariably that project is the one that gets people the most excited because there's an immediate direct connection. So that's been a fun one to watch grow its legs and gain some traction.
Yeah, we hope to have it up to the public, I'd say, by November, so probably maybe later November.
Cool. Can't wait. Next up, our final presenter plays a little bit different role. Paula Sundett-Wolf is here to tell us about her organization called Cook County Higher Education and how it not only supports all of the various facets of our work with the MIRC projects, but also how they play a much larger role in the long-term sustainability of the work we have started over the past year. Paula's worked with Cook County Higher Education since 1997, and her personal experiences with distance learning make her a valuable advocate for the students. Currently, she's enrolled in UND's PhD program in teaching and learning with an emphasis in higher education. Needless to say, she's one more on the list of people we're lucky to have around in our community. Paula, I'm going to switch the slide to you, and then I'll go ahead and pass the baton, and let me know if you have trouble switching those, and I'll help.
Thanks very much, Dana. Looks good on this end. Again, welcome everybody. And the North Shore Campus, or Cook County Higher Education, is a nonprofit organization established in 1996. As it mentions here on the slide, we work with over 50 colleges and universities, most of those in Minnesota, but many across the nation. Some we work with more closely than others, as you can see the comments from Lake Superior College. So we get to know them a little bit more intimately than maybe some of the others. Our students, and again, with a population, as Dana mentioned, a little over 5,000 people, that means our students are coming from a really broad range, everywhere from high school students to, let's see, our age range goes from 16 to 72, I think is what we have. So really a wide range of age and, of course, interest as well. So that means we've got students taking a lot of different types of classes. You can see human anatomy and physiology is one of those. This was one of our group from our LPN cohort a couple years ago. Thankfully, because of the nature of working with some of the different colleges, we can offer classes right here locally for some of that. Some of it happens through online, some through interactive television. With those hands-on kind of classes, it ends up being sort of a hybrid, so they're doing different types of things. We rival Olmsted County for some of the highest post-secondary degrees per capita, and because so many folks like yourself like to retire up here, and thankfully a lot of them come with their various different skills and are able to teach our various different students for some of those hands-on classes. So we've got as many as 135 students enrolled in those various different classes, and they are a big range of different subject areas.
Paula, it was really cool. One of those nurses in that photograph helped me out at the clinic today.
Isn't it nice to see them up there?
Yep, real jobs in our community. Awesome.
It is real jobs. And the nursing programs are quite rigorous. As we see, there's another cohort, these 4 fellows. You know, you don't often supposedly hear of male nurses, but we had 4 in one class, which is really something else. And the other student is working on a CD certificate. So sometimes we have just one student, and sometimes right now we've got a new cohort starting of LPN students, and there are 12 in that class. So again, because we're in a small community, our flexibility, being able to work with a lot of different students and a lot of different sizes of groups is really beneficial. And of course, the high-speed access is really critical. The students, unless they come here, usually don't have any kind of access, well, maybe dial-up for most of the online type classes, or certainly for anything with any video base. It's just impossible to do under those circumstances. So thus our expanded computer lab is one of the initial parts of the MIRC project, and that's been really exciting. We started off with just 4 computers in our computer lab, and thanks to the MIRC project and PCs for People, we were able to increase that to 10, plus we've spread a couple other computers throughout the area, and put 4 laptops in case that the computer lab is being used for training. And Jack and Jake both mentioned that Video 101 class. That would have been one of the trainings that happened in that computer lab. We've done a lot of different trainings through various different entities like Minnesota Extension. We had 143 people trained last year. We've also had GPS training for loggers. For 12 loggers took GPS training. It was quite amazing, because about half of them had never used a GPS unit ever, were completely unfamiliar with computers, and the other half were, so they were working with each other to learn those different skills. That was really fun. We've also done the Knowledge Worker. That's a classroom full of knowledge workers right there. That's a program offered through Lake Superior College, and we've incorporated some of the atomic learning into that as a follow-up. We also have, you see the study place as well for some of our students. Eric is one of the RN students pictured there. He's on the phone, has 2 laptops going, and those are all the books from his class, and he has to use them all the time. Just really, when you see a nursing student, and when you go to the clinic or a hospital and the nurse, you know that they all had to go through all those books. It's really amazing. They work really hard. The other thing we do is work with some of the other MIRC projects like Adult Basic Ed, so they do some of their basic computer training here. and so forth. So some of the other things as far as the workshop training that we did, I mentioned the 143 that attended those different classes that included social networking, Google tools and maps and more. A lot of those were those Minnesota Extension ones. But this year now we're focusing in on some real specifics like analytics, those kind of detail pieces now that we've got the intro part covered. You know, we're one community where we're doing some of these trainings before we have the broadband to help people understand what's available, but also to incorporate some of the things into their web pages that maybe they hadn't considered. So one of those is a business luncheon. That's what our photo is showing here is one of those events. And as we talk about social networking and how you can use that and what other people expect when they come into this area as they're using their various different handheld devices and the apps that they have. And if we don't have those on our web pages or have them available, then it makes it difficult for people to navigate our community. So that's how, as we look ahead for some of the next steps with broadband, is preparing people for what it's going to mean to have broadband in the home, looking at some of the training for new careers such as PC repair and telecommuting, and then continuing to serve our community as a resource center and classroom. We know that will still happen. The support that we have is part of what helps us have our 90% success rate with our students, which is kind of different since the whole nation has something anywhere from 50 to 75%. So something that we're doing is working really well. And of course, we're always open to new ideas that the broadband brings us. So that's why I like this picture of the break wall, is it's leading us out there. And we don't necessarily know where it's going to go. And some of the things haven't been brought up yet, but we're excited about the possibilities. And again, if anybody's interested in contacting Cook County Higher Education, we're at the northshorecampus.org webpage, and we're trying to incorporate some video content on ours as well at some point. Right now I've just been pulling interesting videos off of YouTube, but eventually we'll have testimonials on there. We're kind of excited about those next steps for ourselves. So that wraps it up for me, Dana. It's not leaving a lot of time for questions. Do you want to go back, or how do we do this?
Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to say thanks to all my team for taking the time to tell their stories today, and I don't really have anything else to add. Bernadine, did you want to open it up? We've kind of run out of time, but if anybody has a quick question.
Yeah, thanks, Dana. Let's just it is just a minute after 1, but certainly let's just for those of us who can't hang in there, if your team's good, if anybody has a question out there for Dana's team, you can speak up or use the chat box. So let's just give it a minute or two if we could. Carrie, I'm glad to see that Carl suggested you connect up with Stevens County Historical Society. We had a team from NTIA came out to view our project and saw some of the work that their historical society is doing. And I'm excited as one of the outcomes of today's webinar is that you learned about them, and hope that you'll follow up with them, because they're also doing some really cutting-edge work digitalizing their collection. And I'm sure they'll want to hear more about what you're up to.
Yeah, I appreciate that input. It's nice to make connections because we're all kind of learning this as we go.
Yeah. Any feedback or thoughts to Dana and her team before we sign off?
You guys are way too easy on them. I prepared them for brutal.
Yeah. Well, I think we're all have our jaws open. You guys are something else. That was so exhilarating to see. And it's neat to see the theme about, incorporating video content and video capabilities into your work. That's clearly the next big horizon out there on internet usage, and it's just inspirational to see how you're collaborating and layering efforts on one another. So I really commend you, and I want to thank Debbie, Carrie, Jack, John, Paula, Dana, all of you for your prep today. It really made for a seamless and very inspirational presentation, so thank you very much. Before you hang up, 2 heads up to the group. We had a wonderful turnout today. I hope many of you can tune back in tomorrow at noon. We're beginning a series of pre-broadband conference webinars. I know that this team is aware we have a statewide conference coming up in Duluth in November. And tomorrow is the first of a series of webinars to kind of wet our whistles for that event. We're going to be focusing on critical broadband policy issues at both the federal and state level. And Joanne Johnson from Eureka Broadband Ventures will be with us. Joanne tackled the second broadband task force for the state of Minnesota, and that'll be a really interesting session. There's more info about the webinar and the conference registration stuff on the NING. And our next spotlight on demonstration communities will be Tuesday, October 25th. And the Upper Minnesota Valley RDC, Jackie Anderson and Don Hegling are going to take the reins and walk us through some of the exciting stuff we got to see firsthand with our NTIA evaluators recently. So I welcome you to that as well. So thanks everybody, especially to the folks up in Cook County and all of you who signed in with us today. This webinar will be up on the NING in the next day or two if people want to check back in with the session. So thanks. Have a wonderful day. Great rest of the day to everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Bernadine.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.